Bonjour tout le monde, c'est moi Charlotte et aujourd'hui nous allons regarder une citation sur les vrais riches. Okay, so everyone, today I am not in my usual office. I'm actually in a little cabin, so I'm somewhere different again today. You might find that I'm in different places because there's a change of circumstances going on in my life, and so I'm just embracing it and going wherever I can to do my language club videos. Vous allez entendre ce bruit-là, ce petit pip. Je ne sais pas exactement ce que c'est, mais excusez-moi, c'est un peu énervant, mais voilà. There's a little thing that's beeping, I'm not sure what it is. C'est quelque part par là, somewhere over that way. Ce n'est pas grave, mais excuse-moi pour le beep. So, today we're looking at a quote that I found online. And I think this kind of sentiment's quite well known. I'm not sure if this is exactly like a well-known quote, but it's similar. Voilà, me voilà. It's similar in sentiment to a kind of proverb, if you like, which we're going to see as well if we have the time. So this is what it says. It's les vrais riches. Les vrais riches sont ceux qui possèdent ce que l'argent n'achète pas. So, let's have a look at this. Les vrais riches sont ceux qui possèdent ce que l'argent n'achète pas. I'm sorry about that, guys. It's going to happen quite a lot, I think, during the course of this video. And also, I'm like on rattan chair, so elles font un bruit aussi, so they also make a noise. Right, so les vrais riches. So les vrais riches. Now, we're talking about people here. People who are truly or really rich. Okay, so riche is the adjective, which obviously means to have money. But you could use it in a kind of, what's the word? In a non-literal sense as well, in a more generic sense. If I can't find my words today, then excuse me, but I will do my best. The opposite, not the opposite, but another, kind of the opposite of literal. Figurative, voila. So, rich as in sort of culturally rich, or like rich in terms of like something that's not money. That's the main point of this. Les vrais riches. So, even though we haven't got les vrais personnes riches, okay, we haven't got the word person or the word people in there. We've just got les vrais riches, and that often happens because it's like kind of implied that we're talking about people, okay? So if you were to say le blanc, it would sound like you're saying the blonde guy, the blonde man, okay? Or la petite. You could say la petite fille, la petite dame, you can make it more specific. Or la vieille, just like, or le vieux, la vieille. You can use the article, le, la, les, l'apostrophe, plus an adjective in agreement with whatever article, you know, whether you're talking about one thing that's masculine, one thing that's feminine, several things that are feminine, several things that are masculine, or like of mixed gender. We're talking about either people or animals or like objects or ideas, okay? If you've got any of those things which are essentially nouns in French, then you can refer to them without necessarily using the noun, okay? Context will make this clearer in your conversation or in whatever your language you're digesting. But here we have an example. We don't say the real rich people who are really rich. We've just got les vrais riches, right? And that happens in French quite a lot. So we've just got the article and then we've got some adjectives basically. So vrai means true or real. And because we're talking about, well, here we have les, which is the plural article the, and so it tells you from the word les, when you hear it, when you read it, you know that whatever it's talking about is plural. So vrai here is the adjective that means true or real. It has an S at the end. It doesn't make much difference actually. I'm sorry about the beep. Je suis désolée pour cela. Mais voilà, c'est la vie quoi. It's just life is like that, isn't it? Riche is another adjective, and it also has an S on the end to agree with the people who haven't specifically been identified by the word personne, but they are implied. Okay, les vrais riches. So that's real rich people, or the people who are really rich, those who are truly, really rich. Sont, so that's S-O-N-T, that's the verb être. It's one of the main auxiliary verbs. There's avoir, to have, and there's être, which is to be. And this is the third person plural, so il, elle, on the je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, is, elles, if you like, with an S at the end, because it's plural. They. They are. Les vrais riches sont, the real people who are rich, or those who are truly rich, if you like. That's my preferred translation. Sont, they are. Ceux, so you might not be able to see that perfectly there. Let's see if I can get that. Just using my phone at the moment rather than my usual setup. So we've got ceux. Hang on a minute. Voilà. C-E-U-X, ceux. Ceux. That means those. Have a little look around. Oh, some books, des livres. Autre truc là-bas. So, ceux. So, les vrais riches sont ceux, those. It's a bit like eux, which is E-U-X. So, if you know the word eux, which means them, it's, what's the name of that pronoun? Do you know? I've just forgotten all my words today. You'll have to excuse me because there's just a lot going on. I've got a lot going on in my head at the moment and in my life, and so sometimes I just can't think quick enough. I do know what it is. Eux is like when you say moi or toi, it's a certain type of pronoun. I think it begins with an E. It's not imperative. Emphatic. Ça m'a pris un peu de temps pour trouver ce mot-là. Emphatic. So if you are emphatically, for example, answering a question like who said that, or who did that, or who bought that, or something along those lines, a who question, you can answer it with an emphatic pronoun. You could say moi, I did, or me, or you could say toi, which would be like you in the singular informal, or you could say vous, you guys, or you if you're emphatic, if you're using the emphatic pronoun for one person who you address in the vous form. If you were saying them, like those guys, you could say eux. Qui l'a fait? Eux. Who did it? They did. So eux, all of that to say that ceux is a bit like eux, and it means those. Okay, so les vrais riches sont, the true, or those who are truly rich are those, i.e. those people. Could be something else, but here it's the people. Qui, that means who, those who. Possède, okay, so that's from posséder, which is to possess or to own or to have. So if you were talking about possession, like possession, like the act of being owned, like ownership, if you like, or even like demonic possession, or like figurative possession, like to be possessed by someone or something, then you will possibly encounter this verb and its various linguistic mates, other sort of other elements of language, linguistic elements, okay? So, les vrais riches sont ceux qui possèdent. So this is an ER verb, posséder. And on this month's French handout, we have the present tense of that verb. Je possède, tu possèdes. The first three always, well, not always, but in ER verbs, they tend to sound the same. Je possède, tu possèdes, ils, elles, on possède. Two S's, possède. I should say possède rather than possède. Possède. But if you have a look here, you might see that there's a difference in how it's laid out or how it's written. So the to form has an S at the end, and you don't pronounce it. On ne le prononce pas generally. So the first three, je possède, tu possèdes, il, elle, on possède. The verb part, the posséder, that's been conjugated to agree with the subject pronoun. That's just when you take a verb like manger, and instead of saying je mangeais, which does make sense if you were using the imperfect tense, but if you want to say I am eating or I eat, you have to take the verb manger. Je vous montre. Right, that's the infinitive verb, manger. And in order to conjugate it after je, you would say je mange. Okay? And in the new form, you would change the ending of manger to ONS. So it would be mangeons, nous mangeons, vous mangez, but that's spelled with an EZ, etc. So conjugating means just taking a verb, an infinitive verb, and changing the spelling and the pronunciation. Those two things generally change if the subject is different. So whenever you have new verbs in the present tense, they'll have this on sounding, on sound at the end of it. So if you take the verb posséder, this verb, which is an ER verb, is just put ER at the end, and it's the infinitive verb. Possédons, or possédons, I should say. There's two S's into this. Possédons. In the vous form, you have this e ending, which is an EZ, but it's pronounced e. Like écoutez, listen, or regardez. Ah, everyone, you guys. Vous là, regardez. Vous, écoutez. So that EZ at the end of that verb makes it the vous form, okay? Anyway, that's conjugation. You take a verb, you change the way it's spelt, you change the way it's pronounced, generally, and that changes depending on who the subject is. So the subject might be I, like I go, I want, I'm eating, I like, I don't like, I dislike, I want, I possess, as opposed to we want, we would like, we have, we go, whatever. So the I, you, he, she, or the name of someone, or the names of people, the girls over there, that little cat, the witches, the two women next door, my little cousin, whoever the thing or the person is who you are describing or addressing, that's the subject of your sentence, okay? And the subject pronoun, in fact, the subject doesn't have to be I, you, he, she, or it could just be, it could be a name. It could be like Charlie. Charlie mange des frites. Paul boit un café. Okay, so the subject isn't always I, you, he, she, je, tu, il, elle, whatever. But the subject pronoun replaces the name or the description of the subject. So if I'm talking about my friend Paul, I might say Paul, il est grand, il est beau, il habite près de chez moi, il est français, blah blah blah. At the beginning I'll say Paul is, he does this, he lives here, whatever. But then afterwards I'll say il, because I'm referring to Paul using the subject pronoun il, which means he. So I don't have to keep saying the name Paul. I use a pronoun, and a pronoun replaces the name Paul. Pro means it is used instead of his name. Pronom is a very similar word in French. It just means that you replace something with something else. So you replace a noun with a pronoun. Okay, so I would replace the name Mathilde with the word her, or she, the word she. If I'm describing here in a sentence, she is little, she is nice, whatever. I would use elle. Il and elle are pronouns which replace a male and a female subject. So a subject pronoun, they're like je, tu, il, elle, on, nous. These ones are all called singular subjects because there's only one. Je refers to I, and there's one of me. Tu refers to you, like one person, one you, as opposed to vous, you guys. And il means he, elle means she, and on is a weird one because it kind of means people, or it means we, or it could mean one. But it functions as if it's a singular pronoun. It's on the same line as il and elle. So when you use the subject pronoun en, it's followed by a verb that's in the third person singular conjugation. Then we've got the subject pronouns nous, vous, nous and nous. Non, c'est pareil ça. Vous. So nous means we. Vous means you guys, all of you. Or it could mean vous, une personne, in like the in the formal form of address. And then you have il and elle, which sounds the same as il and elle, but it's got an S at the end in the written form, and you don't often pronounce that S unless it's followed by something which starts with a vowel. Okay, so there's lots of little rules there. Subject pronouns are those words there, and they replace the subject of the sentence, and the subject is who you are addressing, or the person, or the thing, or the person, or the being, or the animal that is being described. Okay, spoken about. So where do we get to? Les vrais riches sont ceux qui, real, or those who are truly rich, the real rich people, if you like, are those who, remember, qui could be a question word as well as like a conjunction word. C'est qui à la porte? Who is at the door? C'est qui à la porte? For example. Posséder is that verb to possess, to have, to own. Okay, a bit like avoir. And then ce que, sounds similar to ce qui, but it's not the same thing. So instead of ce qui, those who, this means, well, let's have a look what it means in context. Les vrais riches sont ceux qui possèdent ce que l'argent n'achète pas. So, ce que, I like to translate as that which, or more simply, what. Okay, so let's have a look. That which, or it could mean what. Okay, so like a conjunction that joins bits of information together. So the real or the truly rich people are those who possess that which l'argent n'achète pas. L'argent. Where's my watch? I've got a silver watch, and argent can mean silver, like the colour, or it can be used to mean, whoa, attention là, c'est parce que j'ai posé le tableau sur une chaise que ça tombe facilement. I've got that sort of set on a chair because I'm not in my normal study, and so it nearly fell. Excuse me, pardon. So argent means money. It can also mean silver. It could be the colour silver, or it could be like the material silver, okay? But it means money. So, Ce que l'argent, so it's a noun that begins with an A, argent, l'argent, so we've got an L apostrophe in front of it, n'achète pas, n'achète pas, so we've got a ne and a verb and a pas. And normally you have ne and pas wrapped around the verb to make it negative. Je mange, I eat, becomes je ne mange pas. Vous mangez, vous ne mangez pas. But when you get verbs that start with a vowel, like acheter, acheter means to buy. Then when you conjugate it, the ne, truncates isn't the word, contracts. The ne contracts down, it contracts down to N apostrophe. So ne achète pas becomes n'achète pas, N apostrophe. Okay, so the apostrophe goes where the E would be, and it brings the it comes closely together with the verb. Okay, and then pas, there's a space after n'achète, and you put pas in. So this is the whole sentence. Les vrais riches sont ceux qui possèdent ce que l'argent n'achète pas. N'achète pas. Je n'achète pas du chocolat. Ça, c'est pas vrai, ça. C'est pas vrai. Je n'achète pas des livres en espagnol. Ça, ce n'est pas vrai non plus. I'm just thinking of examples. But n'achète pas. So that means ce que, what money can't buy, or that which money does not buy. So sometimes in English we would say something like what money cannot buy or what money doesn't buy. We use that verb can, the verb which in French, is pouvoir. But there's a kind of almost a literal sense. When you use pouvoir, it's talking about ability, like something that is possible. So in English, when we say, for example, in the song, money can't buy you love, right? Similar kind of vein, talking about what money cannot buy. We use the verb cannot instead of does not. To make it negative in English, we would use do or does and then not. I do not like. I do not want. And then sometimes we shorten that down to doesn't or don't want. Money doesn't buy love. That kind of thing. But also sometimes we slip in that verb can. It cannot buy love. Right, so that doesn't always happen, or it doesn't always translate across into a different language. So if you're like a French person and you're wondering why this might be translated as those who are truly rich are those who possess what money cannot buy, you might think, where's the verb pouvoir? Why are they saying cannot? You know, like it's not in there. Well, sometimes the way that things are said in a different language is quite different from, it's not literally the same as the source language. So that's why translation exists, and sometimes literally things are almost word for word exactly the same between languages when you translate them in or out of a language, but sometimes that's not the case. So if you see, or if you want to translate something into English and you want to say can, money cannot buy you love, for example, or what money cannot buy, what money does not buy, what cannot be bought by money, if you like, that's a passive sort of structure. That might not be exactly the same as the sort of original, as what was said. Anyway, all that to say, les vrais riches sont ceux qui possèdent ce que l'argent n'achète pas, means those who are truly rich are, or the people who are truly rich are those who possess what money cannot buy, or what money doesn't buy, or what cannot be bought by money. So What cannot be bought by money? So let's have a think about those things. Le bonheur, happiness. Les amis, l'amitié, like friendship, friends. Amour, love. Okay, maybe people could argue that you could buy love, but what else? I put a few things on my handout actually. I'll just sum this up, and like that you can see what is actually behind. So on the handout, I've got some pictures here. Ça veut dire l'amour. Okay, little hands making a heart shape. Un cœur comme ça. Ça veut dire l'amour, love. Les trois amis là. Okay, you can't buy friends. Well, maybe you can. I don't know. It depends how cynical you are. And then what's this one here? Les deux mains qui font. Okay, so that's like my little way of getting across this notion of faith. La foi. So you can't buy those things. So that little quotation really appealed to me because I agree that you just can't, like the people who are truly rich, if you like, are those who have what money can't buy. So if you have love and you have friendship or happiness or like satisfaction, faith, then that's amazing because those things, you can have as much money as you like. Some people just will not be able to have those things, and c'est dommage ça. C'est dommage. Okay, so let's have a look. With this in mind, I can hear some voices. It's because there's a field just next door, so maybe we'll hear people walking their dogs in the field. Excusez-moi, mais voilà. C'est la vie quoi, qui continue. Life goes on outside the little cabin. So another thing that I thought I would then put on this handout is something I haven't done, I don't think. I don't think I've done this before, but I do this in my classes sometimes. So with this idea of money not buying the things that are important in life, that reminded me of the proverb, which says something along the lines of l'argent ne fait pas le bonheur. So money doesn't make you happy. But I would translate it as money can't buy happiness. Okay, there might be like an English equivalent proverb that I can't quite put my finger on at the moment. That happens sometimes. But this is a question that I found was asked of Google, the search engine. Pourquoi les gens disent que l'argent ne fait pas le bonheur? So someone, or lots of people, have asked Google, en français, why do people say pourquoi les gens disent que l'argent ne fait pas le bonheur? So there's that word, le bonheur, the noun, happiness. Think of the word heureux. Heureux, heureuse means happy. Heureusement, happily, the adverb. So le bonheur. Pourquoi les gens disent que l'argent ne fait pas le bonheur? Why do people say that money can't buy you happiness? Or money doesn't buy you. Money doesn't make you happy. That's better, okay? This is the answer, or this is the answer that comes up first. Écoutez. Okay, I'm going to read the answer. I'm not going to write it down. I'm just going to read it. And if you're part of my French club, you'll have this handout, so you'll be able to read along with me. Or, vous pouvez aller sur google.fr et vous pouvez taper pourquoi les gens disent que l'argent ne fait pas le bonheur. Et vous allez voir, vous allez pouvoir lire la réponse. Ok? Voilà la réponse. De nos jours, cette expression est couramment utilisée pour rappeler que la richesse matérielle, n'est pas la clé du bonheur et qu'il est important de se concentrer sur les aspects plus profonds de la vie, tels que les relations humaines, la santé et le bien-être émotionnel. Now this is a lovely answer. So moi j'en suis d'accord. So let's have a look at it. Why do people say that money doesn't buy happiness? This is the answer. De nos jours, nowadays, cette expression, this expression est couramment utilisé, is currently used pour rappeler que, in order to, or for, it's used to remind, rappeler is to remind, que la richesse matérielle, the material wealth, la richesse, so there's another noun, la richesse, wealth, I would say. We don't really say richness. Wealth. La richesse n'est pas la clé du bonheur, is not the key to happiness or the key of happiness. Et, and, qu'il est important de, that it is important to, se concentrer, that means to concentrate or to focus on, it's a reflexive verb, se concentrer, to focus yourself or concentrate on. It's important to focus on des aspects plus profonds. Profond is like in English we say profound or deep, right? So it is necessary to concentrate or focus on deeper aspects de la vie, of life, tels que, such as, les relations humaines, human relations, la santé, right? When you say, well, vous imaginez que c'est c'est pas un stylo en fait, c'est un verre de vin. Santé, chin chin. When you say santé, you're saying health. Okay, so some of les aspects plus profonds de la vie, so deeper or more profound aspects of life, such as human relations, la santé, health, et le bien-être émotionnel. Émotionnel, emotional. Le bien-être, well-being. Bien-être, being. Bien means well, sorry. Être is being. Bien-être, well-being. So I thought that was a really lovely little answer to a good question. And again, pourquoi les gens disent que l'argent ne fait pas le bonheur? Why do people say that money doesn't bring happiness? That's a beautiful reply. Voilà la réponse. So, I've got a couple of little exercises that you can do there where you have to find the translation for various little phrases and nouns or verbs or adjectives that I've mentioned. There's a link which will take you to this video tutorial, and then there's also a link where you can go online and complete some free conjugation exercises on the verb posséder. Okay, so there's quite a lot going on here. You can also find the link to the original post, which you'll find the text on various things, but you'll find this image on facebook.com, le beau doit être notre monde. So the beautiful thing should be our world. That's all available to anyone who is a club member. If you're interested in joining my club, I have an offer coming on where you can get 20% off. If you join one of my clubs, so either my French club or my Italian club, you'll get a year's membership. You get exclusive discounts on private tuition with myself, and you'll also get a heads up on various other events that I run. Start getting some more events going now, and you'll have access to me. You can ask me questions on the content of the videos. You can even suggest what the content should be for your language clubs. You'll get 12 monthly video tutorials and also the accompanying handouts, which will be sent to your email as a PDF. So there you go, you get to study and learn in your own time, and that offer will be running throughout November, December and January. So it's a winter offer, and you're more than welcome to join one of my, or both of my language clubs. Some people join both. And yes, merci beaucoup, and à la prochaine fois. Au revoir. Merci.